Okay, we're going to talk about S10C.1, geometric series finite. That means it has an end. We're not adding an infinite number of things, it's a finite number of things. So we start off with these three sequences, and we use this table to investigate our numbers. So the first thing, U sub 1, we're writing the first numbers here, right? Our first numbers here are 1, 6, and 2, and I've listed these numbers here, as you can see. And then we say, okay, well, what's the R value? Well, how do we figure out R? We take the second one and divide it by the first, or the fourth one divided by the third, and you can see if I do 5 divided by 1, my R value is going to be 5. If I do 12 divided by 6, my R value is going to be 2. And if I do negative 6 divided by 2, my R value is negative 3. Okay, and now, and these first two columns on all of these are going to be the same. Okay, so R squared. So I'm going to take this 5, I'm going to square it. I'm going to take this 2, I'm going to square it. Take this negative 3 and square it. Okay, and then R squared minus 1, we get this value. 25 minus 1 is 24, and so on. And this value here, I'm going to highlight in blue just to help us see what we're going to notice soon. Okay, and R minus 1, so 5 minus 1 is 4, 2 minus 1 is 1, and negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4. Okay, and if I just simply add the first two terms, 1 plus 5, that gets me 6, 6 plus 12 gives me 18, and 2 plus negative 6 gives me negative 4. What we're going to find is that this formula works no matter how many things we're adding up together. Let's see if this formula works when we add two terms. Okay, the yellow one times the blue one divided by the pink one. 1 times 24 is 24, divided by pink is going to give me 6. Yellow times blue, 6 times 3 is 18, divided by 1 gives me 18. 2 times 8 is 16, and 16 divided by negative 4 is negative 4. So if we fill in the table here, so we've got U1, these are all the same, right? And the R values are all the same, right? So here I've got R cubed, so 5 cubed is 125, 2 cubed is 8, negative 3 cubed is negative 27. And then I take these values in this column and subtract 1. These are all 1 less. And then if I take the R value, 5 minus 1 we get 4, 2 minus 1 we get 1, negative 3 minus 1 we get negative 4. And let's see if this works. U1 times our blue value, 124, divided by pink. Let's see if that works. Is 124 divided by 4 equal to 31? 124 divided by 4 gets me 31. And this is adding the first three together. So is 1 plus 5 plus 25 equal 31? Dun, da, 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 it does. So anyways, in our class, we spent this time adding these things together to discover that this does indeed give us the sum if we use this formula. So let's use question B. So we know that B, if I'm doing for question B, we know U sub 1 is 6. We know R is 2. 2 to the 5th is 32. Subtract 1, we get 31. And then if R is 2, R minus 2 minus 1 gives me 1. So I've got my pink, yellow, and blue values here. So 6 times 31 6 times 31 divided by 1 gives me 186. And let's add these together and see if we also get 186. So 6 plus 12 plus 24 plus 48 plus 96, and we also get 186. So you can do the old-fashioned way of just adding them all together, or you can use this formula to help us find the sum of the first 5 terms. This formula is useful when you're adding a whole lot of terms. Okay, so I'm going to show you the answers for the rest of the handout, and we can walk through the process here. Okay, find the sum of 8 terms of the geometric series starting with 7, 28, 112, and so on. Okay, so my first term is 7. And then to figure out the R value, I do 28 divided by 7, and I know my R value is 4. And then using this formula here, we know u sub 1. We know r to the n minus 1. And we know r minus 1. And we do this. And during class, I had accidentally not subtracted 1. I had a slightly different number here. Okay, let's check the next problem here. So, you know, our initial value here for the Academy school fees is this value here. There's my u sub 1. And figuring out R, if the fee increases by 2%, the R value is actually 1.02 because it's 100% plus 2%. My fee is increasing by 2%, so my R value has to be greater than 1. It has to be 1.02. Okay, so now that I've got my R value, I can calculate the school fees. On the 6th year, we're using this formula here. And this tells you what the fee is going to be on the 6th year. And then for question C, we're going to use this formula to find the sum at the 6th year. Okay, so this is finding the sum. This is finding the fee on the 6th year. Okay, you might want to hit pause to check your answers. Okay, let's talk about this one here. It says the second term of the geometric sequence is 6 and the fourth term is 24. One way to think about it is, okay, I'm going to put lines here. So the second term is 6th space, the fourth term is 24. So we need to figure out R. So I don't know what the first term is. I don't know what the third term is, but I know for the second term, to go this way, it's times R, and to go this way again, it's times R. So to get 24, it's 6 times R times R. So I can write this as 6 times R equals 24. So I've got 6R squared equals 24. If I divide both sides by 6, I'm going to get 4. So if R squared is equal to 4, we know that R is going to be 2. So if R is 2, then to go this way, I can multiply. We can double check our answer. Does this make sense? So is 6 times 2 gives me, this one here would be 12, and then 12 times 2, that's going to give me 24. So we know that this one here is 12. And to go the other direction, I have to do divide by 2. So 6 divided by 2, I'm going to get, this one here is going to be, it's going to be 3. Okay. And so I know that u sub 1 is 3, and now I can use my geometric sum formula. We know u sub 1 is 3. And we're trying to find the sum of the first 10 terms, so n is 10. And and this is r minus 1. Okay, check your answer. Next page. Okay, find the common ratio. So 6 divided by 2, the common ratio is 3. And find the sum of the first 10 terms. So my n value is going to be 10. My common ratio is 3. U sub 1 is 2. There we go. You might want to hit pause to check your work. Okay, find how much she pays on month 6. So I'm using the this formula right here to find the payment on the 6th month. So U sub 1 times r to the power of 6 minus 1. Okay, then I'm going to use this formula here to figure out the sum of the first 12 months, which is 1 year. Okay, since the amount of money is increasing 2%, r is 1.02. Check your work. Let's look at question 3. The population on the island, initial population is this. Find the population at the end of 7 years. So this was tricky for some people. At the end of 7 years, we know that n is going to be 8 because we're going to get the population at the beginning of 8 or at the end of 7 years. So n has to be 8, not 7. Okay, I made the mistake also at the beginning when I tried to do this. Something that might be tricky to note is that if the population is 1.2, that the r value is 100% plus 1.2%, which is going to give me 1.012. Okay, because this is 100% plus 1.2%. Okay. Okay, this is just like the one on the earlier page. You're told that the third term is 8 and the fifth term is 128. So you know to go from here to here, it's times r times r. So I can say 8 times r squared is going to give me 128. Divide both sides by 8, I get r squared is 16. So take the square root of 16, we know that r is 4. So to get the next one, I multiply 8 times 4 to get 32, and 32 times 4 gives me 128. Now going backwards, I can say 8 divided by 4 is going to give me 2, and then I do 2 divided by 4 is going to give me this. So my u sub 1 is equal to 0.5, and my r is equal to 4. Okay, question B says find the 8th term. So I'm using this formula right here to find the 8th term. And then I'm using this formula here to find the sum of the first 8 terms. Okay. Check your answers. Okay, next page. Check your answers. You may want to hit pause, and I hope this helps.